And so Shannon Garcia, well, first of all, oh my gosh, when did we meet?
Oh, years ago, because we did the Working Mom Crime thing together.
Yes.
2018,
19. Yeah.
Yeah,
A while ago. We've known each other for a while.
We were aging like 5'9".
I know. So we've been friends for a while, and just a little background story about Shannon and my relationship with her. She at the time was a beauty counter consultant, and I remember just being like, I'm good. But my daughter got really into makeup, and I wanted to make sure that was clean. So she came over, and we did a makeup, like a color party.
Yeah, a little color bar.
Color bar with some little girlfriends, and still I was like, I ain't gonna buy nothing. I'm just here to have fun. And so I bought cream blush. I said I'm gonna buy one cream blush, I'm done.
Okay, cider.
I'm wearing it now. And I was like, I'm done. No, I'm done. And then I was like, well, I think it was from free samples or something. And I did the samples and stuff. But it's funny because I had no intention to continue buying. But you were never like, hey, there's a sale going on, and push. It was just so natural of like wanting to try something new because you were just there, and you just invested into my relationship with our friendship. It was just kind of that, I don't know how to say it. This kind of happens. Like when your friends like, I go to this gym, you're like, I'm never going to that gym, and then pretty soon you go to the gym. But it's just like you just want to be part of it. So thank you so much for your kindness and just not treating me as a transaction, as another person. And there were times where she was like, hey, you have credit that I don't want you to lose. You can lose it, or you can, and it was just so kind, those little things that we did. So, wonderful relationship with Shannon, but I have more to tell you about her. Okay, so Shannon Garcia is a holistic dietitian and clean living expert. You are a clean living expert. She features simple and nourishing recipes on her blog, Kiss in the Kitchen, is a frequent guest on Great Day Essay and San Antonio's Living, and you can find her every morning except Sundays on Instagram sharing a verse and a song of the day with her matcha.
Yes. Love you. Have coffee about a year and a half ago in the morning.
She has that in the day. A green matcha in the morning. Shannon believes that every small step towards better health matters, and making safer swaps in your homes is one of the most important areas of a healthy living puzzle. She offers low-tox home edit services where she helps families detox their homes and improve their quality of life by decreasing their toxic load and creating a legacy of health for generations to come. Additionally, Shannon has spent the past 5 years partnering with the clean beauty company Beauty Counter. She considers this work to be her most meaningful and rewarding of all her businesses, and she loves empowering women to be the gatekeepers of their home for personal care products. Through education, active listening, and providing heartfelt, intentional, consistent customer service, Shannon has served more than 1,000 clients and leads a team of 150 women that have collectively placed more than $3 million worth of safer products in the hands of people they care about. Shannon attributes this success most importantly to God's favor, and secondly, her intentional efforts to building meaningful and lasting relationships, not just transactions. Well, there you go. You are all about that. I love that. So this is Shannon. I cannot wait to learn underneath her teaching. We were just talking about it, that no matter what business you're in, you are in front of people. And so we're going to learn how to be able to show up for them, show up for our clients well. So let's get ready for Shannon.
Thank you, Christine. I truly appreciate all those kind words. Okay, can everyone hear me okay? Okay, awesome. So word of caution, there is power in words. My words have two for 2024, and they are strength and story. I actually loathe public speaking. A lot of people think that I love it because I have done it a lot more lately, but I actually love one-on-one interaction, and I love media and social media, TV, because it's just me and a camera, which is like me and one person, but a room full of eyeballs really gets me all on my nerves. And the shirt I'm wearing underneath this blazer is not really appropriate as a standalone, so I need to like dry down, and when I look out, I just need to see like smiles, like no RBF today. Regardless of how you're loving this or not, just lots of, we're doing great already. Okay, so earlier this year in February, I spoke at church and I shared my testimony about how after 2 years of being separated, God redeemed and restored our marriage. And I'm telling myself, if I can share that and the vulnerability accountability that was required and that storytelling that I can do this today. So I asked Christine to still read that bio, even though much of it has changed. I will try really hard not to get emotional, y'all. How many of you actually know what has transpired in my life in the past month? Okay, it's about maybe a fourth of the room. All right, the rest of you, buckle up. So I chose this picture very intentionally. I sent my bio to Christine on April 17th, and this picture was taken April 18th. The day of April 18th, those of us who partner with Beauty Counter got some really jarring news that the company was basically going to be sold to our original founder and CEO, which was honestly a great thing. We all adore her. Her name is Greg. And Greg was going to be buying back the company from a private equity company that had taken over a few years back. The only downside was our website was going to be down for about 12 days. So when you are in a sales-based business and you have the opportunity to make daily commission, 12 days feels like a long time. However, I felt like 12 days, this is fine. Like, I can be creative for 12 days, come up with additional ways to serve my clients, even though there's not an opportunity for a sale. That's okay, that's who I am anyway. We're gonna talk more about that today. But I had an event scheduled that night, Diva Night and Bernie. And I would be lying if I didn't consider not doing it, because we were gonna be losing the website at some point later that afternoon or evening. We didn't know a hard time. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go. I have an opportunity to educate women on what we put on our bodies, and it matters. And I may or may not be able to actually complete a transaction, and that is okay, because it's not all about transactions, right? And if nothing else, I would get this very special photo that I had no idea my friend Melissa was gonna snap till that night, but it means a lot to me now. So sure enough, that night, in the middle of Diva Night, we did lose our website, and that was fine. And a couple days later, I did another event at my house because I had it planned and people had budgeted their time to be able to come. And no, I could not make a sale, but I could still, again, educate and be able to just be a light and an encouragement to people and encourage women to be the gatekeepers of our homes, like Christine mentioned. So fast forward to May 1st, when we were supposed to have our website back. And it didn't happen, but I was holding kind of May 1st loosely anyway, because it was a whole bunch of legal stuff that needed to take place. And then on May 6th, 3 weeks ago from yesterday, we got the news that Beauty Counter was closing. And that hopefully Beauty Counter will be coming back in Q4 of this year, but we are currently in May, and Q4 is a long time away. And I would be lying if I didn't say I'm not still processing through this. There's a lot of grief. In moments, I lost a full-time income and a community and products and a mission and everything that I have poured the past almost 6 years to, I believe into so much. But it doesn't end there. I have more things to share. And I'm hoping that the things I do share today will mean even more, knowing what has transpired. So, I do have a few notes to make sure I don't mess this up. Okay. So you may be familiar with this quote, but I think that it is more relevant now than ever. Maya Angelou was such a good one. So, when people feel cared for, loved, and seen, what do? What do y'all think?
Thrive.
Yes, absolutely. What else?
Yeah.
What?
They connect.
Yes, absolutely. There's no right or wrong answer here. There's the one I put, but it's not necessarily the only one, right?
I think if you make them feel that way, they're gonna show up for you.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, they will show up. That has been one of the silver linings to the unraveling that has happened for me in this past month, that I have received an unexpected outpouring of support from so many people that are basically saying, Shannon, I need more products, and I'm waiting till I hear where you're going, because whatever you say, that's what I'm doing. I don't even know what it is, and it doesn't matter, because and data shows this, that now people are not just buying a product, they're buying an experience, right? We have to work harder than ever as business owners to provide an experience, not just a product. And we have to work harder than ever also than we did for at least those of us kind of in social selling or the online world. In 2020, it was a lot easier, especially if you maybe started building a business in 2020, we had a captive audience, income was definitely different, inflation isn't what it was now. So now here in 23 and 24, and I'm sure for the foreseeable future, we have to work a lot harder to create a really meaningful experience, not just a product. And we're going to talk about how to do that. I also do want to mention that since I agreed to do this, the imposter syndrome has been so strong. I am not a business coach. I am not a marketing expert. When putting together this presentation, I thought many times, is there like a name for what I'm describing here, like an actual definition for this? Because I'm just a business owner who loves people and takes care of her people, but I'm not an expert at all. So if you are an expert in those areas, please give me some grace if I'm butchering some things. This is just, my personal experience. So something else that I like to think about too is that when we have a small business, we really have an opportunity, not an obligation, to serve our people. We always hear things like the customer's always right. And I think that's a pretty good business practice, right? If you want to keep a customer, ideally they're right, but that's more of like an obligatory mindset, right? Not an opportunity to serve them. And when we get discouraged in our business, and I coach my team on this a lot, it's like, what do you do when you get discouraged? Do you go in this striving mode? Do you all these different how do I get this and how do I do this? Or do you really take a step back and figure out how do you serve your current people better? It's not all about getting new. Don't get me wrong, new volume, new clients is really important for all of our businesses, but oftentimes the way the new can come is because people are telling other people. If Christine's telling other people about, oh, you need to shop with Shannon, yes, she likes her cider blush. That's worth a lot of money right now because you can't get that, and I don't know if you're ever gonna be able to get that. I may have a backup for you, but it's not just about the cider blush, right? If a friend of hers is like, I need some new makeup, she's not necessarily going to go to this place right away of oh, you need beauty counter. It's oh no, you need to talk with my friend Shannon. She's really going to listen to you, figure out what's going to work best for your skin. She can get you some samples, figure out how you like it. Trust me, she'll take good care of you. And that, regardless of what business you have, is what you can do for people, to create something to where people want to tell other people about you, not just because of your service or your product, but because how you made them feel. Okay, so what's your business about? If you are there any photographers in the room? Yes, one. Any others? Okay, so what is your business about?
It's about women.
Yes. So it's about people, right? Okay, anyone else sell skincare or makeup or body products or anything? So what is your business about?
Sell the products and the people and making them boost their confidence and their self-worth and making them feel beautiful.
Yes, excellent answer. You said it. People, right? You'll see where I'm going with this right now, right? So if you work in social media or you help someone manage their page, what is your business about? People, right? Name a business for me that isn't about people. And I think that sometimes we lose sight of that because we have products and we have services and we might have goals or we might have quotas or all the different things. But at the end of the day, it's about people and how we make those people feel. Okay, so kind of really diving in, what does this look like in my business? So, people-focused business, I already mentioned kind of the opportunity, not an obligation. But what I want to mention is that, the whole shopping experience, this is something that's going to vary widely, but how can you make your people feel seen? I think this is a lot of asking questions and active listening. And only you will know, within your own business, what that is going to look like, but asking the questions to where people can really see that you care about them. And I have another slide that's going to go through some of that too, give you some more examples. But I think that it really starts with asking questions, and not asking questions for the sake of responding, but for really getting to know your people. And then I don't trust my brain. I write down everything. So that way I don't want it to sound opportunistic, but if I learn so much about someone, naturally something will present in the future when I can remember something they told me, and then I can bring that up and they're like, oh my gosh, she remembered that. And I do remember it because I care. Each person, regardless of whether they purchased a lip gloss from me or that I'm working with them on my low tox home edit and they make a significant investment and have me in their home for months to help them detox their home, wherever someone falls, they're a person and we have an opportunity to care for them well, right? So abundance mindset, I think that a lot of people talk about this, abundance versus scarcity, but what I like to think about is, are you the best person to serve your client? Or can you maybe even earn some bonus points by referring out? I think that we are sometimes, especially if we're starting out, I own a nutrition private practice that I mainly only refer out for the most part. But at first, starting out, I would take anybody and everybody. And I think that's a lot of our stories, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at some point, you find your niche and you niche down and you figure out where you can best show up for your people. But if you're a little bit maybe more mature in your business and you know who your target client is, but you also need the business, I think that sometimes we just need to lean in and believe that like the right person is out there for us. And if we know in our heart that the right person's not the person that we're currently like interviewing, or however that process works when you're considering working with someone, that being able to refer out is a blessing for someone else's business and a blessing for the client, that you know that they're really gonna get what they need. And I would also argue that they still may come back to you. Maybe you weren't able to serve them for that specific need. Maybe they'll tell a friend, but that just goes so far when you believe that there is enough for everybody, that you're not going to make something fit that doesn't really fit. And I think that it's not like a sexy message, but it's an important one in our businesses. Okay, so I think for me, praying for my clients and team is really important. I'm not going to push this on anyone or try to like over spiritualize things. I think the point to this is you can do things for your people that they don't even know about, right? Like my clients and my team, they don't know that I'm praying for them, right? But it's something that's important to me, and I believe that my businesses are also a ministry, so that can look different for everybody, but I think that it is important that everything doesn't have to be like client facing. You can do practices in your business that I think ground you, but also are a blessing to the people that you're serving. Okay, identifying opportunities for education. So when I think about this, I think about if at least one client, if not more, asking me questions about something, that's an opportunity for me to turn that into content, whether that's like my VIP group or my social media. If I'm getting the question one time, it's like, how can I expand on this? Because if one person has it, chances are other people do too, right? And it's an opportunity to, like, it may not be a quote, income producing activity to create that content, but it is a way to show up and serve and educate. And a lot of sales or transactions do happen via education, but they don't feel transactional, right? Okay, so some other like practices that I do something called 2-2-2s. So what this means for me is when and hopefully you can apply it one way or another to your business, when a client orders something from me for the first time, in 2 days, my goal is to send them a handwritten thank you note. I cannot recommend a handwritten thank you note enough. I just think that is such a lost art, and like, who doesn't like to get happy mail, right? So 2-2-2, 2 days, handwritten thank you note. If this is not possible in the scale of your business, then I would maybe say write an email or something and have something that maybe you could try and personalize a little bit, or maybe you have a drip campaign, whatever that may look like. But letting them know, because people have choices of where they shop, y'all. So letting them know that you really are thankful for them supporting your business. The second 2 is 2 weeks. So someone orders something from me, 2 weeks later, I'm going to be following up to, one, make sure their package arrived. There have been times where I've checked in and they're like, oh, I forgot I ordered. Let me check the tracking. Oh, it says it's delivered, but it's not here. And if I didn't follow up, some of my clients are so busy, like it'd probably be a couple months later when they realize that they didn't have what they needed, and that would be a big mess, right? So I check in 2 weeks to make sure everything arrived and ask if they have questions on how to use what they got. It's just a check-in. There's no ask associated with it whatsoever. And I'm sure many of you have, there's so many ways you can describe it. Talk about like 80% service and then 20% ask, or like a, jab, jab, hook, or all the different things, right? But these are deposits and touch points in the bank, right? When we think about relationships, we can't, it's like a bank account, right? You can't open a bank account and then not put any money in and walk into the bank and say, yeah, I'll take out $100. It doesn't work that way if you haven't deposited something, right? And I hesitate to explain it like that because it does sound very transactional, which is the exact thing I'm teaching against. But I think it's wise to remember that we can't just pull if we haven't made some very intentional, meaningful, genuine deposits. So that second 2 is the 2-week check-in. And then 2 months, and I think this is the most important one, also the hardest one for me to stay on top of, but the 2 month is the check-in on like, hey, how are you doing? How is your skin doing? Personal example, obviously, for my business. But it's not, hey, do you need refills? Are you low in moisturizer? It's, how are you doing? How is your skin feeling? Like, the weather's changing. Like, do you feel like the products are building up on your skin? Like, are you exfoliating? I mean, I'm not gonna like actually ask them that many questions in a row. I'm gonna let them answer. But the idea is I'm checking in with them as a person. I'm not asking for them to purchase something from me because I know that they're probably getting close to needing something, right? And then consistency, again, key, like so consistent. And I'm gonna skip ahead to the very last one and then I'll go in order, but ask yourself, is this sustainable? I think that that's so important in a business because if you're trying to be consistent but it's not sustainable, then you need to figure something else out. Even if it means it looks like you're serving your clients a little bit differently, you have to figure that out because it needs to be sustainable for you unless you're going to scale, outsource, whatever. Like depending on if you're a one-woman team, which I think a lot of us are, or if we maybe have a little bit of help from a VA, whatever that may be, but it needs to be sustainable for you. So I don't want you to hear these things today and be like, oh, I have 5 new ideas, ways I'm gonna serve my clients, and then 3 weeks from now you're like, I can't do this, I can't keep up. So figuring out what is a sustainable cadence for you is going to be really important. Okay, Happy Meal. Who doesn't love Happy Meal, right? Like, it brightens my day so much. And I'm pretty sure I get just as much joy from like giving and sending as I do receiving. But you know, my thank you notes are always handwritten. And then I will surprise people with things. Or sometimes people ask for samples, but I'll use that as an opportunity to just put like a little extra something in there, or maybe a sticker, or whatever it may be. But I just think Happy Meal is a lost art, like I mentioned earlier, but a great opportunity for us to lean into, even if that means you pick like a percentage of your clients. I can't say enough about Happy Meal. Okay, periodic check-ins, not associated with an ask or promo. So the same way I do those 2-month ones, I still try to, I would say check in with clients at least once a quarter. I'd probably do it more frequently, but the idea is if I'm looking at whether it's an email thread or a text thread, I don't want it to look like, I mean, like, hey, there's this Memorial Day promo, hey, there's this sunscreen promo, hey, like, versus actual questions, asking how are they doing. And if I know them well, I can also, like, if I know they're a mom who, raise your hand if you're a mom. Okay. How's May going? right? Mayhem, Maycember, like, wow, maybe say more. But like little things that you can just be a human and relate to people, right? Okay, so gifting without an ask. I have historically every October, I would gift my top like anywhere from 25 to 50 beauty counter clients, and I would mail out a mailer with it wasn't a handwritten thank you, I typed it, but basically before holiday hit, there was no ask associated with it, there wasn't spend this, get this, it was just a holiday card giving them a sneak peek, early access to what only they could see because I was letting them in early and then gifting the people who had, supported me the most. And I wasn't asking for anything. I know that I was top of mind. These are some of my best clients anyway. I know they're probably going to shop, but that wasn't why I was sending these things, right? So I think that when we can figure out strategic, I don't want to say gifting because it doesn't have to be gifting. It can just be a card that says thank you and acknowledging that people have choices on where they shop or who they hire as a photographer or who they hire to help with their social media or whoever it may be, that you're recognizing I know you have choices and the fact that you pick me really means a lot. Okay, referral program. So when we're thinking about gaining new clients, hopefully people are telling other people about you and your services, your products, because you've made them feel a certain way. But it also doesn't hurt to incentivize that. And I think that, and there's different ways to do this. Also, if you're a brand new business, I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed. I'm like, I only have so much money I can spend and make investments. And I think that there are creative ways you can do things. So for me, or if I'm coaching my team on like our style of business, this may look like giving a referral gift that take percentage off your next order. So if you don't have the funds to put in, then you're at least recognizing thank you so much, and you know that you'll be able to kind of pull from that, like what you would earn on the next order. So just kind of an example, because I don't want to sound tone deaf that we all don't have unlimited budgets in our business. I don't, in case you missed what I shared earlier. So definitely working on a much different budget right now. And then birthday love. So this has been a goal of mine that I haven't been able to successfully execute, and I think it's because I just know it's not sustainable for me yet. I've wanted to gift every client like a 10% off or something on their birthday, and I've done it for like I think 2 or 3 clients in the past almost 6 years, just being super transparent. But every time I did it, I was like, I'm not going to be able to keep up with it. So I think that it's a great goal, and if you have a business to where you're serving a smaller client base, that might be something to consider. I just know for me it's not sustainable yet, but I would like to get to that point. Okay, so I want y'all to take 3 minutes, and based on some of the things I've said, and I'm still going to give you some more like tangible tips, kind of what this looks like in my own business after this exercise, but I want you to take some notes or brainstorm and think about some creative or thoughtful ways that you can check in on a client. Alicia, will you keep time for me? Yes. Thank you. For small group? Oh, I got 2 more slides. Let me crank those. Okay, you're good. Okay. Anybody want to share real quick? Maybe like 2 people what you came up with? Anybody? Yes, Jennifer.
For me, I do a lot of education when it comes to health and wellness. am trying to get in the habit of doing is doing like an oil checkup. So basically, it's helping them to rediscover ways that they can use the oils that they have, or maybe go back to why they purchased it. Maybe they bought it and they just, okay, I'm gonna use it for this, but they just never did. So kind of helping them to utilize what they already have, right? They made this investment in themselves. I don't want it to just sit there and you know, just be there. So that way they can utilize what they have.
I love that. That's such an excellent example about how you're not trying to sell them something else. You're trying to bring them more value from what they've already purchased from you. So that's amazing. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Maybe Robin. Yes, Elizabeth.
So I'm a service-based person. So for my coaching, I've been trying to keep up more with people that I've had conversations with. And like you said, as a mom, I have 1.5 million things swimming on in my head 100% of the time. So like writing down things specifically, because I'll remember, like I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But writing things down intentionally and following up with people, I think, and especially during more difficult times of the year, sending in free. I have like a ton of freebies, and I'm like, people, do you want this? Like, get this, you know? And so, kind of promoting that as a way to. I mean, I want people to do well. I want people to feel better, and I know sometimes they can't either invest, you know, financially or time or whatever. But to say, hey, like I have a guide on this, so you can at least read up on it, or the holidays are coming up, and so this is how you can set boundaries with all those 5 family members that you're about to see, or you know, things like that. So,
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. And that's a great segue. So I'm going to show you quick, or 2 more slides. I'll go through them real quick. So to your point about documenting things. So this is kind of like what my timeline looks like. I've already mentioned most of these things. So if I meet a client or a potential client, I'm asking a lot of questions, right? And then y'all should see, I use a free app. I don't do the paid one, but it's called HubSpot. And I use HubSpot to like document all my clients, and there's a notes section in there. So it might even look like Leisha wearing leopardy shirt, like if I'm meeting you for the first time, like, so I can try and remember what this person looked like, right? Like she told me about her daughter. Her daughter is a skincare beauty junkie, right? Like birthday coming up, like, you know, just those kind of things that I can make those notes, and then the people are always really surprised when I remember something, but it also really just helps me invest in the relationship, right? Because this is about a relationship. And then, you know, client orders, this is probably not usually that like close in proximity, right? Like people need a lot of touch points. So it's not like I meet Kristen and Kristen's like, oh, I want to order a cleansing balm, right? Like it doesn't usually happen that way. There's a lot of time between them. I do an order, you know, get an order, do a happy dance, send that handwritten thank you note 2 days later, check in 2 weeks, 2 months after, and then continuing to check in, providing that consistency with just overall service, because people have choices. So it's my big takeaway, right? Your clients have many options. Give them a reason to choose you. Your clients still have many options, right? If you are a photographer, if you photograph them one time, are you just hoping to photograph them one time, or do you want to be the person that they use, right? So whatever your business is, you want to be able to continue to provide service for them, and also know when it's okay to refer out. And then, you know, I don't know if I meant to hold that or not, but it doesn't hold it. Are you thinking of how you can increase your sales or clients, or are you thinking of how you can love your people better? So I'll close with some, what I would say is good news. I fully believe God doesn't close a door without opening a window. And when I got that news of Beauty Counter on May 6th, I knew that I was going to have to quickly pivot. And I wrestled with that because I have spent, you know, the past almost 6 years in a business that's direct sales, and I felt like I didn't even know it, because the Beauty Counter culture, like if you've had any ill experiences with direct sales, I get it. That's not what Beauty Counter was like at all. And I felt like for a few days I was just cast in this, like really chum in the water, and everybody, like people I'd never met that are DMing me, and like it was just a really ugly experience. And also, I knew in my heart that I have immense responsibility to my clients and my team to provide other safe, high-performing options, and that they trust me, and that I've spent a long time building that trust, and that I couldn't, not that I couldn't grieve, but that I needed to go ahead and pick myself up and start figuring out what the next option was, because I owed them that, and I owe me that, being able to find and vet options that are good choices, and for those who wanted to still work with me in some capacity and have that community and team, that I could find a place for them to softly land and feel like they still had that community. And I found it. I feel like in all of my, I parked kind of a few different places and tried on some things and was like, nope. And then I don't know how many of you are familiar with a company called Crunchy. Very small company, but very, very lateral move from Beauty Counter. I don't feel like I have to work backwards at all in terms of what I've educated on in the past 6 years. And it's a really good fit, that it just from safety and performance, all the things. And I'm so thankful that there was one thing, because I'm really picky, and I just could not go backwards and tell someone, well, I know I said I didn't use this before, but now, like, if my beliefs change, sure, but my beliefs haven't shifted at all. So what day was that? So Wednesday, May 8th, I reached out to a friend of mine, and I'll close with this, but this is such a good example. So a mama at my oldest daughter's school has worked with Crunchy for years, and Crunchy and Beauty Counter have arguably been competitors, and her and I had joked over the years, I wanted her to come over to Beauty Counter, she wanted me to go over to Crunchy, and she felt like such a safe space to go to and be like, Jen, I know you know what happened, I'm searching for something for my people, can I ask some questions? And she handled everything exactly how I would have handled it, and was like, she cried with me, she prayed with me, she was so tender. And I ended up signing up that night. She loaned me a ton of products that I still have so I could try them. And what was that? It was less than 3 weeks ago. I have 62 people on my team in that short amount of time. And as a team, we have almost created $10,000 worth of volume this month. So it's really a beautiful testimony, I think, to when you take care of people well, and then they come back and they want to do the same for you, and you build that loyalty and that trust. And it was just, none of this I saw coming. And there's still a lot of grief and transition, but I'm thankful to have an option and to still just be able to move forward and do the work that means so much to me. So thank you all so much for listening. I think we're gonna do some small group time and then Q&A after.